Today's gonna be a busy day because I've got a big old ham to smoke. This is a pre-smoked, pre-cooked ham, so we're gonna double smoke it out on the Lone Star Grillz Offset. I'm gonna give it a terrific glaze. While all that's going on, we're gonna be making some kitchen sink beans to go along with it. And at the end of the day, it's just gonna be a terrific meal, perfect for the holidays. So yeah, I'm starting with a big old hunk of ham today. This is 18 pounds, bone in. A lot of times you'll see, about half of this, cut right down here. This is sort of the whole thing here. It's a big one and it's spiral cut. So as it cooks, it will open up a little bit. That's okay. Now the first thing I want to do is I want to give a little bit of extra flavor to begin with on the surface. We're going to put a rub on this just like we would, a pork butt or something. But it is pretty dry, so I'm going to put a little bit of a binder on it. Now one thing is the bottom side of this is also spiral cut. You can see the spirals go this way. So if I was to stand it up, it would just tip over. So we're going to be doing it on the side like this today, and there won't be a lot of rub on the bottom, but that's all right. My binder today is just a little bit of some stone ground Dijon mustard. Don't need a lot. Just a little bit of something for that rub to grab onto on the surface here. And you'll notice that I have this in a round foil pan. That's because I want to be able to move this easily on and off the smoker when I need to. And with those spirals opening up, if I pick this up, it's going to have a tendency just to open up like an accordion. Now the rub I'm going to be using is Uncle Steve's Shake Competition Pig Powder. I picked some of this up a while ago and it's really good. But here you could use any rub you want or no rub at all. I'm gonna get my cutting board nice and messy here. I'm gonna roll this a little here just to get a little bit on the edges. All right, that's looking good. Let's get this out to the Lone Star Grillz Offset. All right, the Lone Star Grillz is up to temp. I'm gonna be dialing it in at about 275 to 300 today. And for wood, my choice today, hickory. Goes great with ham. Now I don't want that foil pan to necessarily capture the juices that might come off the ham. I'm gonna go ahead and poke some holes in that with my temperature probe that's gonna go in the ham. I've got about a gallon of water in the cook chamber. You can add water right to the bottom of the cook chamber in the Lone Star Grillz. That'll just be for a little extra moisture in there today. But for now, we're just gonna let this get smoking. Now, since this is a pre-cooked, pre-smoked ham, it's edible before you even put it on here. Want to bring it up to a comfortable temperature, around 140 degrees internal. Somewhere around 120, I'm gonna be glazing it with a Cranberry Honey Glaze. Now this cook today could take anywhere from 3 to 5 hours. When the ham reaches that 100-degree internal range, I want to get the beans on, so we'll be getting those ready pretty soon. So I'll bring you back for that. But first, I want to show you how I made that Cranberry Honey Glaze. I did that yesterday, so take a look at this. So this Cranberry Honey Glaze is super simple to make. I have a saucepan on my induction burner right here just so we can see things easily. I'm going to start by adding 2/3 of a cup of water. And I just want to get this so it's starting to bubble. You can already see wisps of steam coming up on here. This works pretty quickly on the induction burner. Just starting to see those first little bubbles. We're going to add a 1/2 cup of white sugar and 1/2 cup of brown sugar. Stir this around here. I have my power level at 5 right now, right in the middle. Now I'm going to add 12 ounces of cranberries. I'm I'm going to add 1/3 of a cup of orange juice. This is actually freshly squeezed orange juice. Finally, 2 teaspoons of Orange Zest. I'm going to go ahead and turn my power down to 3. And I'm going to turn it all the way down to 1 now. I'm going to put the lid on for 5 minutes. All right, we've been going for 5 minutes now. And if you hear like a fan sound, I forgot to mention the induction burner, that's the sound it makes, has a little cooling fan in there. The other thing I forgot to mention is, you may be asking yourself, well, where's the honey if this is a cranberry honey glaze? That's coming. This is starting out as a basic cranberry sauce. So let's see how we're doing. Looking good. What we want to do is keep this at a super low simmer and let these cranberries start to break down. And you can use a spoon and sort of help them along just by pushing, starting to crush them a bit. Starts to get that juice out of them. All right, I'm going to put the lid on, and this time we're going to go for 10 minutes. All right, we've been going another 10 minutes. Let's see how we're doing. I also switched my temperature control to temperature, not number, and right now I'm running at 210 degrees, right below boiling. I'm going to turn it down a little more, down to 180 degrees. And at this point, we're going to leave the lid off and let this thicken up a little bit. Any cranberries that are still whole, just get in there and smash them. But this is looking good. Smelling great too. So this is going to go just like this for about 10 more minutes uncovered. Then I'm going to let it cool for probably 20 minutes before we mix this with our honey to make our cranberry honey glaze. So I'll bring you back when this is cooled down a bit. So the cranberry sauce has cooled down. It's not 100% cool, it's still warm. And I took a quick taste, and man, that is fantastic. You can just make that on its own and it's terrific. In fact, I reserved a good amount of it. We're only taking a cup of it to add to our honey. And in this bowl here, I have 1 cup of honey. I'm using a wildflower honey. You really can use any kind you want, but if you can find one with a unique taste, it just adds extra flavor to this glaze. So we're gonna add our 1 cup of cranberry sauce to this, and we're gonna mix. If the cranberry sauce is slightly warm, that's actually good because it helps it blend in with that honey, which is very thick. You can see how it's loosened up here already. Now, quick thing, if you want to change this even more, kick it up a little bit, you could add cayenne pepper for heat, or you could add, I don't know, 2 or 3 tablespoons of bourbon. Really good flavor to add. All right, let's get a little taste here. This is going to be killer on the ham. Now, this is going to refrigerate overnight. What I reserved is going to refrigerate overnight. We're going to have that separately with our ham, and it is going to be fantastic. All right, we've been going about 2 hours. I just added another split of wood on, so the temp is coming back up in the Lone Star Grillz Offset. Internal temp of the ham is about 70 degrees. I want to take a look at it, see if we need to spritz it, and see if maybe we're going to need to cover it to slow any color development down. So let's take a look. That is looking really good. So I do want to give this a spritz here, and this is just a 50-50 mix of water and a raspberry vinegar. You could use apple cider vinegar if you want. That raspberry vinegar has such a great smell to it. Now the color development on this is good, but I want to slow it down a bit. I don't want it to get too dark too fast. So I'm going to tent this with some foil. All right, we're going to close it up, let it keep cooking, and in a while, we're going to start getting our beans ready. So we're just about to hit 90 degrees internal on our ham. It's time to get the beans ready. Now these are kitchen sink beans, which means you really can put anything you want into them. So this is just what I'm putting into them. And I'm not starting out with beans that you're going to make from scratch. I'm using 2 28-ounce cans of baked beans. To this, I'm going to add about a cup and a half of barbecue sauce. This is a homemade barbecue sauce that I used in a video not that long ago, but use any barbecue sauce you want. I'm also going to add 4 ounces of Ortega chilies, that little can that you can get that are all chopped up, and about 4 ounces of marinated red peppers that I've chopped up. Final ingredient, about a pound of leftover rib meat that I had from racks of ribs that I didn't use. This has already been smoked and it is frozen, and we're putting it right in here. We're just going to stir everything together here. Last addition is about 2 cups of water. You could use stock, and if this gets too thick, I can add some more as we go along. We're going to leave this uncovered as we get this on the smoker, so let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and slide the ham down towards the smokestack a little bit to make a little more room for our beans. Let's take a quick peek at it first, see how it's looking. I'm liking that. All right, let's get this closed up, let those beans absorb some of the hickory smoke, and when it's time to glaze the ham, we'll be putting the lid on our pot of beans. See you back here when it's time to glaze the ham. All right, so we just hit 122 internal on this ham. Time to glaze it. I want to give my beans a stir first before I put the lid on them. Also want to do a quick internal temperature check on the beans just to see how hot they've gotten so far. Our beans are at 147, 148 degrees. We'll put our lid on here. Slide these down a bit. Get our foil off. A little bit of juice gathering here. I want to poke some holes, let that drain out. And I'm going to go ahead and take my internal temperature probe out because now I'm just going to let this go for 20 to 30 minutes after it's glazed. Just going to start applying this cranberry honey glaze. All right, I'm going to close this up, let it finish smoking. In about 30 minutes, I'm going to take this off, and I'll see you inside. So I have some of our finished ham slices and some of our beans, which are almost like just ribs with beans, but it's fantastic. All plated up here. And if you remember, when I made the glaze for the ham, I reserved some of the cranberry sauce. We're going to put some of that on our ham right now. This is so good on here. I know a lot of people think it's really traditional just with turkey. It goes fantastic with ham. There we go. Looking at that, I know it's time to taste. So let me cut some ham down here. Get some cranberry sauce on here. Let's see. The cranberry sauce pairs perfectly with the ham, but now I want to try a piece with no sauce on it, just getting that glaze and all the other flavors. If you've ever cooked a ham or bought a ham that has that sort of crispy, crusty outside, very similar to this. All the layers of flavor, the inherent flavor in the ham that it was originally smoked with, the rub, the glaze, the smoke we added, cranberry sauce at the end. I don't know that I would change a thing. Now for a taste of these kitchen sink beans. And remember, They're named that because you can throw everything but the kitchen sink in with them. Things that you have left over, flavors you like, additions you like, that's what you can put in these. The beans picked up some of the smokiness, not just from the smoke in the smoker, but from those ribs that I previously smoked. As those heat back up in the juices, they release that smoke flavor. Just fantastic. So if you've got a ham that's already been smoked, you can smoke it some more to bring it up to temperature. Pair it with something like some good beans. You can customize all these flavors to your liking, and this will be a holiday meal that everyone will rave about.